What are some adult versions of Santa isn't real? Bad things happen to good people, and vice versa. Nobody's gonna pay you when you lose your teeth again. I completely forgot that the tooth fairy was a thing, so for a minute thought you were saying if you lose teeth you won't find a jock. Your parents really had no idea what they were doing. This realization has actually given me a lot of empathy and acceptance for how my parents acted during my childhood. I have become a parent myself, and if my kid does something weird, I can just Google the problem and find a wealth of information. They didn't have that, and just had to wing it and sit with all the uncertainties and fears I have now. Child labor and slavery still exists and contributes to our comfort. It was so easy for me to ignore. Then I started working with refugee populations who would mention starting working at 5 or 6 years old at factories or in farming. My nephews are that age, and all they care about is Sonic the Hedgehog. Suddenly, I am having a conversation with someone who experienced real trauma because of consumer needs. They are not a theoretical child, but a real person in my life. It's almost impossible not to spend money on stuff that was made in unethical conditions, especially as a working-class American, but we can all make small changes that minimize some harm. I intend on keeping my phone until I absolutely can't use it anymore. I have already opted to get it fixed several times instead of replacing it. I have stopped buying most fast fashion. Boycott Shine. Buy almost all of my clothes. Shoes used, with some exceptions. Men's stuff instead of replacing. Throwing away. Avoid certain brands that are well known for bad labor practices. And shop local. Fair trade as often as I can. Adults are not real, we are all doing the best we can. As a teen, I was pretty convinced that I had the world all figured out. I can adult, I got this, I said. Now as an adult, I realize that I will never have it figured out. Nobody is an adult, we are just tall children. Kane and The Undertaker are not really brothers. The stripper pole spins. I feel dumb right now, that makes so much sense. I mean, don't feel bad. Every good technological innovation should be indistinguishable from magic, and exotic dancers are pulling the best example of sleight of hand any magician can use. All our heroes are just flawed as human beings who will disappoint us. Idolizing people is a terrible idea. Most adults are just grown-up children. You don't magically earn a ton of knowledge when you turn 18. Everybody is just improvising. Around 10 to 15% of all adults haven't grown to become adults and never will in their lifetime. 15% is wildly conservative. As someone who works intimately with people, being very conservative in my opinion, it's half of adults I interact with that have a combination of profound ignorance and or immature coping mechanisms to the point of really just being intellectually kids, teenagers. I know that sounds harsh, so to be clear, I do of course know that this is the result of systemic societal issues causing people to be this way. I do not believe that most human beings are innately just stupid. Society creates these people, or, better yet, does not allow most folks achieve their potential, but the ill effects are nonetheless all the same. The working world isn't a meritocracy, where the most mature and rational-minded people get ahead. It is a miracle the working world even functions and society even runs properly, with how stupid and inefficient the average adult is. People don't suddenly mature and become super put together because they have got a job. There is gossip, drama, petty interpersonal issues, and sheer incompetence that never gets dealt with all over the place wherever you go, in every single industry. Loads of adults have not matured or grown one bit since high school, and people's hiring decisions are never about who is best at the tasks, but about who best fits into the culture. Incompetent assholes who have a certain je ne sais quoi get hired, while you could be the best, nicest, most competent person at the job and still not get the position. I have noticed this as I have climbed the corporate ladder. At every level there is the same ratio of dumb and smart people, the only difference is the pay and responsibility. 20% of employees do 80% of the work. And everyone everywhere thinks they are part of that 20%. Retirement. It sounds magical until you realize you had to have been saving money or somehow received funds held away for you from company pension, social security, your savings, all of which is slowly disappearing. You grow up thinking, oh, at 60-something, when I will be considered a senior, things will be fine. My kids will take care of me. I won't live that long, or just fuck it. I can do whatever I want, then falala. This is a lie. If you are reading this and you are not already contributing to something, if you have no idea what I am talking about, you need to start figuring that out. Now. MLMs don't work except for the people at the top of the pyramid. Looks matter a lot. Sorry. So does wealth. In many cases more than looks. Doctors give terrible advice when it isn't related to their fields. Don't take investment advice from them just because they may be wealthy. They often know very little about finances in general. Celebrities are not your friend. You don't know them at all. You say they are good people, but how do you know? It's literally their job to put on an act for a living. Somebody doing charitable things does not make them automatically good. Look at movies, the villain is always a philanthropist. We are taught that working hard earns promotions, raises, respect from your bosses and co-workers. It's how you rise to the top, then you grow up and you are hit with the truth. The reward for hard work is usually just more work. Rom-coms. Someone on Reddit once said to use the DeVito rule on rom-coms. If the movie becomes infinitely creepier with Danny DeVito as the lead actor, it's a creepy rom-com. Spoiler alert, many of them are creepy even without applying this method. What are you talking about? If I take any rom-com, then switch the lead with Danny DeVito, it does not become creepy, it becomes the best movie ever. I want to see Sleepless in Seattle, starring Tom Hanks and Danny DeVito. Meg Ryan's character was a huge creep in that movie. HR is not your ally, and in some cases the most sociopathic people will work in this field and walk all over you. No matter what the company is calling that department, it will always be HR. Realizing your parents are not very bright. One day your parents put you down, and they never picked you up again. Like corporations, academics isn't a meritocracy either, especially in the US, where college is pay to play. There are some bright people at the top, but many people only have degrees because they had the money and time. I worked in research labs, and the publish or perish culture really takes a lot of the integrity out of the work that is done. Degrees and accolades are a reflection of class, before intelligence, expertise, or hard work. Your job does not care about you. They may say they appreciate you, but they will replace you in a second. 20 years from now, the only people who will remember you took all that overtime or stayed late at work is your kids and family. Unlivable minimum wage and class war are just modern terms for slavery. Trickle-down economics is a lie. Libertarianism does not work, and never will. Capitalism is killing the planet. To expound on libertarianism does not work. The theory itself is flawed. You know how we say, well, communism works in theory, sometimes. Well, libertarianism does not. It breaks down the moment any deeper level of human behavior or demographics is applied to it. Working harder won't get you paid more, and it's the annoying fake as fuck ass kissers who think too hard about their LinkedIn who end up on top. This does not answer the question, but I found out Santa was not real when I walked in on my parents' dresses as Santa and his little elfette, doing the deed doggy style. At least nobody was lacking in Christmas spirit. Religion was invented to keep people in their place and make it easier to exploit them. I equate Jesus to adult Santa, all other religions to an extent, but the way Christians think of the bearded guy that they can ask for a promotion at work because they have been good. Crypto only gains by what others lose. Best explanation of crypto I have seen on Reddit. Crypto is a crowdsourced MLM educational program to teach libertarians, in real time, why financial regulations exist. Trickle-down economics. It didn't work. It does not work, and it won't work. And yet here we are again. Trump is not a good businessman, and much of what he started has ended in bankruptcy and court shutdowns due to fraudulent actions. The police are like the HR department of the country. They are not there to protect you, they are there to protect the government. The amount of people that actually made themselves rich while being fucking idiots that couldn't function in a Walmart is mind-boggling. Sometimes life just gives people easy mode who would otherwise would fail to get off the main menu screen if it was a requirement to life. Trickle-down economic policies are a trick to get you to support giving wealthy people more money. The wealth does not trickle down. Quite often, luck beats hard work. Sometimes there really is no second chance. Sometimes if you fuck up with a girl, a job, an interview, whatever, the ship has sailed for good. You simply cannot make it right. Similarly, if you postpone to do something, it is possible that you simply can't do it by the time you make up your mind. Thanks for watching. Share your story in the comment.